So this is a critically important day. The nation just decided, in a landslide, for the man on the left of your screen to take the nation forward in a new way. They wanted change. They wanted him to be able to unify the people around him, nominate the people that he thinks need to go forward, get those nominees confirmed, and bring about change on many issues, the least of which an inflation-driven economy, which we saw the number tick back up just on Friday, and the border crisis created under the Biden-Harris administration. So he needs to be able to do that. And a judge's decision today will reflect on how much latitude he could really have or would not have. We begin with this Fox News alert that Judge Juan Merchan could soon rule on the fate of President-elect Donald Trump's New York criminal conviction. Prosecutors had pushed to delay the ruling until today so they could evaluate the next steps now that Trump has been elected to a second term. Judge Merchan could uphold the conviction, dismiss it, or kick the can down the road. And we'll get into the details because, again, this moment is critical. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. The decision on whether Trump's guilty verdict should be tossed or kept comes after the U.S. Supreme Court decided to give presidents broad immunity from criminal prosecution. Now, that wasn't that long ago. It was right before the election. Trey Gowdy lays out what he thinks should happen next.
I don't think you can hold it in abeyance. You can't sentence him because he's then a convicted felon. So imagine I can't possess a firearm because I'm a convicted felon, but I have the nuclear codes. That's absurd. He hasn't had an evidentiary hearing on presidential immunity. Look, the prosecution said they're competing interests. Not anymore. The competition's over. They lost. So he needs to end the case.
So a jury convicted Trump in May of this year on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records relating to payments to an adult film worker, Stormy Daniels. Carrie Urban, Fox News legal editor, and Leo Terrell, Fox News contributor and attorney, are with me for this moment in history. Leo, I'm going to go to you first. I'm putting it into context for people so that they understand what could possibly happen. Tell us the two scenarios.
Yeah, and it's sad that he cannot make a decision today because I think he's motivated by politics. He could dismiss the case right now. Right now, he could do it right now if he wanted to. He can also say that the evidence, that inadmissible evidence that the Supreme Court ruled was inadmissible, is grounds for dismissal. Harris, I want to make sure everyone understands this. That evidence was heard by the jury. No one on this planet can determine whether or not that inadmissible evidence had an impact on the jury decision. That warrants a new trial or a dismissal. But why won't he make a decision? Because it's politics. He has had this case for a very long time, but he's holding it, and he's holding it over the head of President Trump. If he rules against Trump, okay, let the Trump team proceed with appeals because they feel they'll be victorious. But he's holding it, and that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong, and I submit to you, with my experience as a lawyer, he is playing politics with a case that he should not have in his custody, control, or possession.
So for argument's sake, let's say that, Carrie, the political game would be the benefit to Democrats and the loss to Republicans should this judge make the decision against Trump. I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. They just lost, the Democrats. So the voice that matters most in the room is the people's voice.
It is. And we do know that Judge Merchan is a political animal. And we know this because he donated to Joe Biden in 2020. Now, people will say, well, it was only $15 or $20. Irrelevant. It's that he donated at all while Trump cases were percolating before him. And as someone who clerked on a state appellate court, that was shocking to me at the time because judges typically do everything in their power to avoid the appearance of impropriety or unfairness. This judge has not cared about that. So we know that he considers politics. Now, to your point, Harris, if he were to not toss this case out, he will be an outlier, politically speaking. It's pretty clear what's going to happen in Washington, D.C. Jack Smith's unwinding those cases. We'll know for sure December 2nd. And interestingly, just yesterday in Georgia, the Court of Appeals pulled off the docket the hearing with Fani Willis, whether or not she can remain presiding over the case. That, to me, indicates that that case is going away. So if Judge Merchan doesn't take one of the off-ramps that he now has to get out of this case, he will be out there by himself. And the question that I think he needs to consider, if he hasn't been, is does he want to be responsible for Republicans winning again in 2028? Because lawfare didn't work.
And just to press in a bit, so was Merchan's donation, large or small, a thumb on the scale?
Well, it was a signal. It told us everything we need to know about this person, that he does not care even about the appearance of fairness, which is quite concerning, especially when you have the former president of the United States, the possible future president. You want to do everything in your power to at least maintain that appearance. And it's typically very important to a judge. You know, having clerked for a judge for 2 years, it's something they think about all the time. And that was one of a number of things that he did that struck me as political, and I don't care, which again means that he is thinking about all of these things. And that's why today is a very interesting day to see what he's going to do.
Last one on this, Leo, and then we're going to move forward to that situation in Pennsylvania that has blown up. Why wouldn't the judge have just come out strong and made his decision? We've been sitting in wait now for some time.
Harris, I'll tell you simply this. Let me add one other factor. His daughter is involved in Democrat politics. It's politics, Harris. You cannot justify his holding this case. And I'll tell you right now, this case is going to be reviewed on a federal level by the Department of Justice, by the appellate court, because Trump is not going to have 34 felony counts against him. He's going to get vindicated either in the state appellate level or the federal level. It's going to happen, but it's politics, Harris. It's nothing else, nothing more.
Well, then it makes me wonder what the judge gets out of it, because the Democrats have lost. So if you're going to play politics, don't you need a win? And I just don't know what that would be. All right, let's move.
Thanks for tuning in to our channel. Before you go, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you the latest stories and insights. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time